Друзья, благодарю организаторов за возможность участия в международной конференции.
Friends, I thank
И
the organizers for the
вы знаете,
opportunity to
что,
participate in the
собственно говоря,
international
вот эта
conference.
тема опасности
You know
ядерной
that the
войны
danger of nuclear
проистекает
war stems
из
from the
атомного
nuclear
проекта,
project.
который несколько
That
десятков
was
лет
launched
назад
several decades
был
ago.
начат. И
There is another
есть
project,
еще один
no less
проект не
dangerous
менее
than
опасный. Это
artificial
проект
intellect project,
искусственного
which I
интеллекта,
write about in my
о
book.
котором я пишу свои книги. Меня
My
зовут
name
Игорь
is Igor
Шнуренко, я
Shnurenko.
писатель
I am a
и
writer and an
эксперт по
expert in the
искусственному
field of
интеллекту.
artificial
И
intelligence.
сегодня я хотел рассказать вам
Today I
о
would like to
новой
talk
книге,
about
которая
my new
вышла, но
book
она
on
вышла
another
на
taboo
другую
subject, which is
табуированную тему,
related to these two
связанную с этими
topics.
темами. Это
This is
тема
the theme of
Джеффри
Jeffrey
Эпштейна
Epstein
и
and his
его
circle.
круга. И вот
The AI project theme was launched
тема
back in
вот
the
этого проекта искусственного
1950s, a
интеллекта,
little later
тоже
than the
запущенная
nuclear
еще в
project.
50-е годы
Discussions
прошлого
around
века,
AI is
чуть
taboo in
погодя после
Russia.
атомного проекта. Вот, тема
You can
искусственного
only
интеллекта в
write
России
optimistic
особенно
things about
табуирована,
it.
потому что
No
можно
criticism has
писать
been
только
allowed for a
оптимистические
long
вещи,
time. Everything is
никакой
being
критики,
done to ensure that
никакого
people
размышления не
accept AI and
допускается
give
уже
up the
давно.
most important
Вот, все
sovereignty.
делается для того, чтобы люди приняли
This is by no
искусственный
means the
интеллект,
sovereignty of the
чтобы
state,
отказались от самого главного
but
суверенитета,
the
это
sovereignty of
суверенитет
a human
человека.
being,
Вот.
because
И это
everything is
отнюдь не
in our
суверенитет
heads.
государства, это суверенитет человека, потому что все у нас вот здесь в голове.
Now I'm going to
И,
talk about the Epstein circle.
ну, сейчас я буду говорить про как
My
раз
book
круг
Epstein's
Эпштейна.
Archipelago was
Вышла
published in
книга,
Bulgaria by the
сейчас
publishing
я вам
house
даже
East West.
покажу, как она выглядит. Эта книга
I was
вышла
unable to
сейчас
agree
в
on the
Болгарии,
publication of the book
в
in Russia,
Болгарии
as the topic is taboo there.
в издательстве «Восток-Запад», вот «Архипелаг Эпштейна»
Obviously,
называется.
I will
Эта книга
have to
по-русски,
distribute it
поскольку тема
myself.
табуирована.
I have already
Мне пока
read
не
several
удалось договориться
chapters
с
from
каким-либо
this book
издательством.
on
Я
my
буду,
channel,
очевидно,
and
распространять ее сам, и у себя на канале уже
there are also links on
несколько
my
глав из этой
Telegram
книги прочел
channel
и
Land
читаю
of
ее
the
буду
Free.
у себя на канале в Бусти, и вот канал есть «Земля свободных» в
In Bulgaria, the book
Телеграме,
has been
там тоже это
published
можно,
and has had
оттуда есть
reviews in
ссылки.
well-known
Вот, в то
media,
время как в Болгарии
including
вот есть
24 Hours.
и рецензии в известных СМИ там появляются, таких как 24 часа. Вот. И в
What
чем
is the uniqueness
уникальность
of this
этой
book?
книги?
In
Это
general,
в том, что
Epstein's theme is
тема
presented as a
Эпштейна вообще
description of
подается
the
как
life of a lone
некое
monster who seduced everyone,
описание жизни вот такого
molested
монстра-одиночки,
everyone,
который
lured
всех
everyone to his
соблазнил, всех
island,
растлил, завлек всех на свой
that he
остров.
was very
Вот,
convincing,
и что
lured
он такой
everyone
был
to
очень
his island.
удивительный человек, обладал магнетизмом. Так вот,
There
в
is a
этой
lot
книге
of
я
information in the media,
даю мне
and
просто
there are a lot of
вы
videos,
встретите в
which
СМИ,
usually deal with
в роликах
shocking
самых разных,
episodes that
которых
are not
действительно много.
connected into a
Вот, но
single
там
whole.
идет обычно речь о каких-то шокирующих эпизодах только, и
In
они
my
не
book,
связаны в
I
единый.
give a lot of
Вот.
facts and a complete
Я даю
picture of
цельную
what was
картину
happening.
происходящего, которая, если
I'm
посмотреть
proving that
все
Epstein is certainly not a
очень много
loner.
фактов, я
He is a
доказываю, что это,
representative
конечно,
of a
неправда,
large network of the
что
most influential
представитель
people on the planet.
большой сети самых влиятельных людей
And
на
this
планете,
network began
и эта
as a
сеть
network of the
началась
world
как
of
бы как
finance.
сеть мира финансов, вот, затем туда вошли
Then there
политики,
were
деятели культуры,
politicians,
крупнейшие
cultural
ученые,
figures, major
владельцы цифровых
scientists, owners of
платформ и
digital
прежде всего
platforms,
разработчики
and above
искусственного
all, AI
интеллекта. И
developers.
эта сеть, вот цель этой сети,
The
это не
purpose
только
of this network
сбор
is for all
какой-то
members
для
to be able
дискуссии,
to
да,
break any laws without
цель
problems
организована для того,
and
чтобы
behave like
все ее члены
superhumans.
могли без
As a race
проблем
of
нарушать
superhumans,
любые законы, как бы вести себя как сверхлюди, как такая раса
this
сверхлюдей.
network is huge.
И
It has been created for
эта
decades.
сеть огромная, она
I'm
создавалась
describing
десятками
how
лет.
it
Я
has been
описываю, как
created
еще с
since the
начала
early
80-х годов
1980s,
она создавалась, и вовлекает она в себя сотни и
and it
тысячи
involves
людей.
hundreds and
Кстати, в
thousands of
России эта тема
people.
табуирована, потому что
In Russia,
через
this
нее
topic is
прошло, вот, по
taboo
самым
because,
скромным оценкам,
according to the most
более
conservative
тысячи
estimates,
несовершеннолетних
more than
девочек,
1,000
и
underage girls have
половина,
passed
по
through it.
признанию Эпштейна самого, это
According
Россия и
to
Украина.
Epstein himself, half of
Вот,
them were
и
from Russia and
понимаете, что
Ukraine.
это сотни и сотни и сотни
You have to
девочек, но мы не
understand
знаем, что
that
с ними
there are
стало,
hundreds
мы не
and
знаем, живы
hundreds
ли
of
они,
girls. We don't know what happened to
и
them,
знаем,
or
вот
if they're still alive.
есть информация, и говорят об этих
Information
эпизодах,
is available
об
about
определенных
several girls
девушках
from
из
Russia,
России, но
but their
это
names
по
can
пальцам
be
одной руки
listed on
можно
the fingers
перечислить
of one
эти
hand,
фамилии, то есть, а их сотни и сотни и
and
сотни.
there are hundreds and
И
hundreds and hundreds
никаких
of them,
расследований
and
не
no
ведется,
investigation is
несмотря на все
underway,
разговоры
despite all the
о войне,
accusations
про
and talk
какой-то
about the
Запад, но
cursed
в России
West.
нет
There are
никаких
no
расследований
investigations in Russia into
на
the
тему вот этих
disappearance of
сотен и
these
сотен
hundreds of
жертв
Epstein's
Эпштейна.
victims.
И я показываю, что эта сеть продолжает
I
действовать и
show that
после
this network
смерти так
continues to
называемого
operate
Эпштейна,
even after the so-called death of Epstein in 2019, which is also highly questionable. I am writing about this too. Now this network is a little bit hidden, but none of its representatives went to jail. Some of them, like Prince Andrew, were detained, but he spent less than a day in the police, and all remain unpunished. It is known that especially at the beginning of their work, these people, of course, solved important issues in their circle. For example, Epstein discussed the terrible disease with Bill Gates before it was launched. They made deals related to this, promoted the system. A couple of chapters of my book are devoted to how this network, Epstein, and related people promoted the eye. All the prominent developers have also passed through this network. Money was invested there. As I said, this is the world of finance. First of all, this network was created as a network of the world of finance. An interesting aspect. I call this network a swarm. Those who belong to it lose their individuality. Collective rituals are performed with underage girls and boys. To participate in these rituals, they make contributions to a common cause. Such contributions were made by millionaire Les Wexner and others. Wexner financed Epstein for decades and also got away with it. He was not even detained, although his very active participation in orgies was proven. And of course the money trail. For any of these monetary transactions, any ordinary person would be locked up in prison. Interesting fact, in the 1980s, Epstein had a partner with whom he organized a pyramid scheme. Pretty quickly, this partner was made a scapegoat. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and served 17 years. At that time, nothing was done to Epstein at all. He was not even detained. He was a witness in the case, testified, and nothing was done to him. There have been many such cases, and I am describing them. Such completely illegal transactions took place on a daily basis, but there was a powerful roof. Moreover, the roof is not only in the United States, including prosecutors, politicians, and presidents in office at that time. But it's the same in Russia, where Epstein flew many times without any visas, including with President Clinton. He flew to different cities of Russia, took the girls on board. Of course, no one has investigated this. The most important thing is that the Epstein Archipelago still exists. These are territories, islands, yachts, elite estates where human laws do not apply. They belong to the oligarchy. They belong to the Epstein class, this swarm. Zuckerberg, billionaire Larry Ellison, and many others have such islands. And the whole planet can become such an archipelago because Epstein brainwashed his victims with special techniques, special services, as well as drugs and medications, enforcing them to first become slaves and then accomplices in his crimes. And so, the methods of enslaving the population were worked out eugenic methods. Among other things, the practice of creating a higher race, that is, he involved genetics. He raised his children like in an incubator. No one knows what happened to them. Nobody has investigated the situation. He sponsored relevant scientific developments, and he put these developments into practice not only for enslavement, but also for the development of slavery from within, making voluntary slaves out of people. This network continues to invest huge efforts, and all the money in the world is now invested in the creation and promotion of an eye system. All the prominent figures in this field were members of Epstein's network, and a lot of money has been allocated. Epstein's files help to see that the world is ruled by an anonymous government. Those who put forward certain circles are wrong. This is an anonymous government with members lack personal characteristics. It's a product of the Epstein network that they launched a few decades ago. It has been developing. All the money in the world is invested there, promoted by the system. At the same time, it seems that there is no alternative, that we should not miss it. But we are already seeing how generative AI destroys the very possibility of human authorship of books that are already beginning to be rewritten. In general, the idea that people have no choice is very characteristic of the Epstein network. According to his documents, it can be traced how he kept telling the victims that they had no choice, that they had to go through all this, and after that he promised them some kind of advancement. But as a rule, he did not do this. Now this powerful roof continues to operate. It is engaged in discrediting sources, discrediting those who speak on this subject. This is done by the most expensive lawyers in the world, teams of agents. In my book, I prove this. They have been intimidating victims for many years. The most prominent of them, like Virginia Joffrey, died under very strange circumstances. She allegedly committed suicide. But it's very serious. It's clear that she was forced to. At the insistence of Congress, a lot of data was released on January 30, 2026. But at the same time, the published data of dozens of victims were leaked to the network, so that they would be silenced, so that they would not say anything. As a matter of fact, we are dealing with a social experiment. This is not just the exploitation of minors. It is a mechanism of loyalty linking world leaders, scientists, and billionaires. And there are absolutely a lot of Russian top names involved, so they don't write about it. Nobody has investigated that. The normalization of perception of what was happening on these islands is closely related to the ideology of transhumanism, according to which an ordinary person is just biological material. These orgies were not an end in themselves. They were part of a large socio-psychological and even biological experiment. And even the study of human control, how to break a person, how to turn him to be a willing participant in the brave new world. I am also analyzing an anonymous control system in which the biggest names end up being part of this network. My book is called The Epstein Archipelago. This is not just an investigation, but a warning. While the world is watching the screens, this anonymous government is rewriting the code of human existence itself. Now I'll show you a website where you can still find my books. But this opportunity will soon disappear because publishing houses in Russia have stopped contacting me. These are books, A World Without People, Human Hacked, Demon Inside About I, Kill Leviathan, The Great Zeroing. These are the last copies. I urge you to think about it and urge you to find my channel on Boosty. I'm mostly there now. I also publish my information in my Telegram channel Land of the Free and in my YouTube channel. But everything is censored and processed there. There are a lot of bots. Thanks for attention. Success to the international conference. I was glad to participate.